3. Thanks for sticking with me. So if you're new here, today we're going to be discussing different 4C hair myths, and we're going to debunk them by speaking on facts and truth and real life experience. So this video is to help all those with 4C hair or those who style 4C hair to understand a little bit more through the constant narratives that float around in our natural hair community. There are so many myths about the hair and scalp floating all over the internet too, which can be very dangerous if you don't seek professional education. That's where I come in. So my name is Deborah, also known as DJ, and I am a licensed dermatologist. I'm a Salon suite owner, and I have my suite located right off of the Scalp Boulevard in North Miami. I am also an educator, so my focus is to basically educate the world on how to bridge the gaps between cosmetology education, natural hair care practices, and protective styling. So before I get in deep into this video, you already know I'm going to make a shout out to the NHBC, the Natural Hairstyle and Braid Coalition based out of New York, who are already doing the great work to standardize natural hair care education, to also make it easily accessible within cosmetology schools. Shout out to the new bill passed in New York, December 2023. It's an amazing thing to be able to have a law passed for curriculums in cosmetology schools to be updated, so that way we can now learn about all hair textures rather than just the European-centric textures. This is really exciting for our industry, and once one state does it, hopefully the other states will follow, especially Florida, because unfortunately Florida does not even recognize the natural hair care license, nor do they recognize the braider's license, which they recently deregulated in 2021 or 2020. And they also don't recognize the natural hair care curriculum book. So we have a long way to go here in Florida, but we going, okay? And it starts with me giving information, sharing information, shedding light on what's going on, keeping you updated, and yeah, keeping you educated. So please give the NHBC a follow on Instagram. Links will be available below. And you can also visit their website to help them collect data for our community, so that way we can continue to better serve our community, okay? We won't know what to do for you, we won't know how to help you if you don't speak up. So please visit their website, take all their service, anything you can do really, truly helps, okay? Now today, like I said, we will be debunking 4C hair myths. This video is geared towards those who also wear braids, twists, locks, with or without extensions, okay? So if you're also a hairstylist, a student, or the average client who likes to wear natural hair or protective styles, this video is for you, all right? So let's play a game. You know how this goes. We're gonna do true or false and debunk the myth. So the first thing first. The myth is use Dandruff shampoo for itchy scalp. Okay, so we're gonna have to slow down on this a little bit, okay? Because this is kind of like a twofold question, twofold answer. It would be considered true and false. Now, the reason why this statement is true is because when the scalp has been professionally diagnosed by a dermatologist, meaning professionally diagnosed by a dermatologist, not a hairstylist, not a trichologist, a dermatologist. Once you've been professionally diagnosed and they tell you you have dandruff, then you can use dandruff shampoo. But if you're experiencing itchiness and you're not sure if it's dandruff, you could likely have a different condition that's similar to the symptoms of having dandruff. For example, seborrheic dermatitis emulates the same symptoms as dandruff, but can be worsened with the use of dandruff products, okay? This is gonna be a whole nother conversation and a whole nother video about dry scalp versus dandruff, because these are two, you can basically say opposite conditions, and you cannot treat them the same way, okay? Or you will make it worse, all right? So if you have been diagnosed by a dermatologist and they tell you to use dandruff shampoos, then it's likely so that they have fully diagnosed you, okay? So it would be safe to use it. But using dandruff shampoo on a dry scalp, mainly for people who have not been diagnosed by a professional yet, when you're using dandruff products on a dry scalp, the dandruff product is meant to dry out the skin. because those with dandruff skin usually are overproducing oils, right? So the dandruff product is meant to remove that oil, strip that oil. But if you have dry skin, which is also considered dry scalp, and you're using a dandruff product that's meant to dry you out and strip you out, you're gonna dry the dry scalp out even more. You're gonna strip the dry scalp out even more. That's going to irritate it even more. It's already irritated, likely inflamed and agitated because it cannot retain moisture to keep it in its natural supple state. So now every time it gets dry, the skin gets tight and then it gets irritated and it gets itchy. When you're consistently using a product that's meant for the opposite condition, baby, you're gonna make it worse. So if you're at home right now dealing with a scalp condition and you've personally bought Head and Shoulders Selsun Blue and you haven't gone to a dermatologist yet, you could be likely making your situation worse. I'm just saying, I have been healed from dry scalp, seborrheic dermatitis, eczema, atopic dermatitis for years now. And it's because I put down the store-bought mess and I went and sought professional help. If this ain't gonna push you, baby, I don't know what will. You trying to be flaky for the rest of your life. Cause I know I wasn't. Baby, I was on the floor itching and crying like, God help me, and God help me. So maybe this is me being here for you, God sending me your way. Please do not take these words lightly. I mean it when I say it. Get professionally diagnosed before purchasing any products to treat or self-medicate, okay? Okay, and I'm a very holistic individual, okay? I believe in naturopathic work, I believe in homeopathic work, I believe in all things holistic. I only roll holistically, okay? But there are some things we need to do to help us continue on our holistic route, okay? That's where the doctors come into play. So, next one would be number two. Number two, which would be, my phone is being funny. Now, having a sore scalp. This is number two, okay? So, having a sore scalp and bumps after braids is normal. The answer to this should be easy, but most people don't know this. It would be false. This is not normal, okay? This is not normal at all. Very common in our community, okay? But it's not normal. This occurs due to braiding too tight and using excessive tension, okay? Hair braiding should not be making your client uncomfortable or in pain. If this is happening to you, please, both of you, the client and the stylist, stop immediately, relax, and take a moment before you go ahead and continue. Braids are meant to protect the hair, not to damage it, okay? And until you learn how to braid, or I find someone who knows how to braid neatly without gripping so tight, because you don't need to grip tight in order to make a neat braid. You don't need to. Like, I used to be the queen of braiding tight, okay? And then I sought help. I did. See, whenever I fuck up, y'all, I seek help, okay? I try to do it all on my own until I hit a brick wall, and then I'm like, okay, my way's not working, let me try a new way. And that's where I seek help, real help, professional help. And because of this, I was able to understand how my hand placement and my gripping was actually pulling on the follicle and the skin of the client, which was going to lead to serious issues if not addressed right then and there, or if continuously done. And you know how we do. We like to put our braids in our hair, take them down, and put them right back in. Understand that your scalp is your skin. Your scalp is your skin. So think of this, when you get a wound on your skin, how long does it take to heal? About 2 weeks. Sometimes we'll get wounds that we didn't even know happened. They just appear, and then all of a sudden we feel stinging and pain, right? Like you can brush up across a nail, like my hand can brush up across a nail that you hammer into the wall real quick, and I probably won't feel it, but I'm gonna look a few seconds later and I'm gonna see an open wound and some bleeding and maybe some stinging, because now I have open skin. But I didn't feel it at first when I got the bruising, right? The same thing applies to when we're braiding or when we're twisting, especially with extensions, because that's added weight. We're not considering the techniques that's used to braid, along with the weight of the detention of the braid, along with the practices that the client is already doing. If the client is already careless braiding hair, it's going to be likely that they're going to deal with some form of bumps, redness, inflammation, itching, soreness, bruising, because they're not taking care of their hair at home, and because their stylist is just braiding, just to braid, not necessarily paying attention to the movement of the skin, the movement of the hair, and remembering that the hair is connected to follicles, and the follicles are connected to nerves, and the nerves are also being stressed out and traumatized along with the follicle when the hair is just being braided any kind of which way. Okay, so we gotta consider all of these things. Everything plays a role. So when you have this thing called folliculitis, which is little small bumps that you'll get like around the hairline or in the front, and sometimes they'll have like some white pus in it. Yeah, that is called a local infection. Okay, that if not resolved can increase and make things worse, and even continue and even cause more irritation, which can lead to hair thinning and hair loss. I would know. I've experienced it. This is 4 years of me healing. Okay, this is 4 years of me being a good girl and not falling for the hype again. But before this baby, I was a bald head scallywag. Now, and I'm trying to help y'all not be that. Okay, I never thought I'd experience this. And now that I have, I'm like, okay, I have to tell people, there is another way. There's another way, y'all. We don't have to keep hurting ourselves. So now, let's keep it going. As I said what I said, if you notice that you're experiencing some bumps, it can even bleed, it can have pus there, it's local infection, not treated properly, making sure it's being not disinfected, but sanitized, cleaned. If it's not being cleaned, if it's not being constantly nurtured, if the braids around that area that have the bumps are not removed or loosened, and this is continuously done, you're going to lose hair in that area. This is why a lot of people who like to rely on protective styles as a go-to tend to have a thinning hairline, because this is the weaker parts of the hair on the head, and we tend to put heavy extensions on them, and then those heavy and tight extensions pull on the skin, creating the bumps because the skin is irritated. Okay? So all that to say is braids are meant to protect the hair, not to damage it. Having these small tiny bumps usually on the hairline can result in infection, irritation, and hair loss. I would love. I'm gonna stop saying that because I think y'all get it. You get it. You get it. Okay, thank you. Number 3. Make sure. So let's do it. Braids can cause traction and let's hit the sweet spot. So this is true. This is very true. True. Because I've been through it. Okay? When braids such as box braids or formal extensions especially are done too often, more than 4 times a year or back to back without breaks in between, they are styling with piping on and around the hair. Traction and trauma is created, which leads to thinning and not addressed in time problems. And I'm telling you, I've been there. So I don't think I need to show you, but I feel like you get where I'm coming from, right? Okay. The next one, that would be number 4, braids. So, braids are a protective style. This is both true and false, because yes, braids are known to be alternative to using a lasting style, reducing manipulation, heat, color, light, chemical services, but this is only true for clients who do not have scalp conditions such as alopecia, or they will have a pre-existing condition on their scalp when doing braids, may not be a healthy alternative as a protective style. I try to encourage clients from creating more damage by using braids to cover their problems instead of protecting the hair. So braids are protective until they're no longer protected. That's why I say true and false. So true, yes, they're protected as far as keeping you from the negative radiation, the heat, the constant. Well, let me smell. Let me do that today. Let me put some color. Let me put some heat in it. Let me do this. It keeps you away from that for sure. It does give you a little to be able to let it go and you know, deal with the daily trials and tribulations with life. It also allows you to look good, you go to the beach, the pool, it allows, it provides so much convenience that to a point where it's magical and people get addicted and they keep doing it over and over again. Either they look correct, you know, the proper, the hair under there, the real hair under there, so they drink it, they'll wash it, they'll treat it, they start putting their style back in, or they'll overdo the time frame that is necessary to wear their styles, or they will wear them back to back to back. There's there's so many things that go hand in hand with why people would consider braids our protective style, but how they can easily not become one, right? We enjoy it, we love it, and then we abuse it. That's what we do. I ain't gonna lie, okay? We love to indulge. I know, because I am a Sag moon and Sag rising, and baby, I like to indulge. But with proper education, it'll help you understand that moderation is key. Too much of anything is bad for you, okay? So let's not be stuck on using these protective styles for so often, for so long, where it creates a problem to now we have to rely on them to cover the problems that they first created, if you get where I'm coming from. So this is why it's true and false. Now, last question for this video is grease, pomades, and oils don't clog the pores. That's false, okay? Ingredients made from petroleum, mineral oil, and nanolin are typically included in the category of heavy grease and pomade products, and they should be avoided. Now, I know you have Madam C.J. Walker and all the other people who made things that contain grease and oils and all of them, but understand that's what we have access to, because the Europeans didn't give a fuck about letting us have what we needed to have, and they also didn't allow us to have access to the proper education like we do not today to be able to continue having safe practices. So we think, oh, this is healthy for us because your mother taught you, your mother's mother taught you, but understand your mother and your mother's mother and your mother's mother's mother was living in a whole different time, honey. And in this time, they didn't give a fuck about us for real. In that time, we had to make do with what we had. In that time, we didn't have access to much information. So now, as I'm in training for trichology, I understand, wow, there is a science that's backing to this. And we have been missed out on so much. If anything, we've been bamboozled by marketing, and the people who continue to lead in this industry for us, to represent us, have also been bamboozled. They're not our savior, they're not helping. If anything, they're low-key part of the problem. Okay, so I'm hitting you with facts. I'm hitting you with facts and experience. I'm not hitting you with a trend. I'm not hitting you with a method. I could care less if this video goes viral or not. This is meant for my clients and my students anyway. The last thing I want is for you guys to be stuck on old ways that our community should rely on, thinking that they work, because they don't. So, moving back to what I was saying, they're typically involved in heavy grease and pomade products, and they should be avoided. Why? Not avoided all the time. I mean, not avoided to be used at all, but avoided to be used all the time. So like if grease is your go-to for your scalp and then you wonder why you're irritated and itchy all the time, that could be why. Lack of hydration and cleansing, the constant clogging of the pores of the scalp, that plays a role. Like I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I have a scalp monitor now that I use to do hair and scalp assessments for like clients when they come in for a consultation, and I'll give them a quick rundown of what I'm seeing on their scalp. And a lot of the time, the area that they feel irritation is the area that I usually magnify and see clogging of the follicle. And what clogs the follicle is buildup, sweat, product, conditioners, oils, all that. So when once again, our community, we've been raised to say, hey, when your scalp is itchy, that means it's growing. That's not true. The moment you feel an itch is the sign of irritation, the first sign of irritation, meaning something's up and you should be checking it. Whether that's dryness, whether that's itchiness due to build-up or whatever, because of a scar or bruise, doesn't matter, but it should be addressed. It should not be ignored, and it should not be continuously addressed by scratching it. Using your nails scars your skin, scars your follicle. Even with a light, I just damaged my skin just doing that, okay, on a microscopic level. I'm serious. This is what I was taught, and this is what I know because I've seen it through the trichology, through the trichoscope. So, as I mentioned, be more mindful of what you're using on your scalp, because those greases, the blue magic, they can be pretty heavy and they will clog the pores, okay? They will clog your scalp. And what happens is when you have a follicle that's clogged, it's gonna be really hard for that hair to grow out of it. Okay, so it may not produce hair, it may produce very weak hair, and it's gonna cause more irritation, meaning you're gonna be itching and scratching, meaning you're gonna what's that word? Irritate that follicle. You're going to likely damage that follicle, and that follicle may not be able to produce hair anymore. That happens. I'm telling you, that's what happened to me because I wanted to overrun my scalp with oils and not hydrate it first. Oils don't penetrate. The thick ones don't penetrate. Okay, let's bring it back. So, some clients have an emotional attachment to the thick feel and fragrance of a heavy lacquered look when it comes to using oils. So I would suggest that the client be educated on lighter herbal and botanically based products that add nutrients and fortify the hair instead of just coating the hair shaft and clogging the pores of the scalp or the grease, right? Oils have their own lipid levels, which determine whether they can be comedogenic or not, meaning if they can cause clogging of the follicle or not, meaning if they can cause irritation or later on, a build-up situation, a nasty situation you don't want. Be sure to do your own research on these type of oils too when you're using them before you put them on your skin, okay? Now, I'm gonna make another video about this because talking about oils, baby, we could talk about it all day. But there are 3 types of oils. I want you to think about this. We've got the mineral oils, which is the lanolin, the petroleum, think of Vaseline, think of baby oil, think of pomade, right? We have those mineral oils, which is crude oil that has been distilled from gas and fuel to be able to be recycled and reused, right? That's why it's called crude oil with thick viscosity. It's very thick and heavy, so people use it to lubricate certain things, right? It has its place. Now, you have carrier oils. Carrier oils are mainly seed extracted oils. So you've got almond oil, you've got castor oil, which comes from a seed, shea butter, you've got shea, coconut, you got jojoba. Those are seed extracted, right? They can be pretty thick too. They're more fatty. Their lipid levels because every single oil has different lipid levels, which just means the thickness of it and if it's going to actually penetrate into the scalp or if it's just going to sit on top. When it comes to seed extracted oils, these are considered carrier oils. These are the oils you would dilute an oil with, an essential oil with, and you would not use it on its own, and you would not use it excessively. Okay, carrier oils work best when you do have an essential oil mixed in with it. That's going to be another conversation. And like I said, 3 categories. The 3rd category is plant extracted oils, which is seed oils, which is I take that back, which is essential oils. Child, I need to take a break. But plant extracted oils are considered essential oils. These are the stuff that are thin enough, that are low in lipid levels, that can penetrate into the skin, that have that herbal, vibe to it. But because it is plant extracted, meaning leaf extracted, it tends to be extremely concentrated versus the carrier oils and the mineral oils because they actually work, they actually penetrate. They actually have properties like antimicrobial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory. They do so many different things. Like some of them are even astringents, like they do so many things, but you don't want to use them on their own, okay? Because what happens is they are so concentrated, using them on your skin, it will burn, it will irritate, okay? So be careful. I would know because I went on YouTube. Someone on YouTube said put tea tree oil on your face to make the acne go away. I went and bought 100% cold pressed pure tea tree oil 6-7 years ago and put it on my face, and I could not breathe or see for like an hour. My face was on fire for the rest of the day and my face was red for the rest of the week. So like I said, whatever you've done, I probably did times 10, baby. This is a judgment-free zone, all right? I'm just here to enlighten from my trials and tribulations, so maybe you don't have to go through it too. But yeah, this is why I stress out using an essential oil and mixing it with a carrier oil and staying away from a mineral oil. Fuck the mineral oils. Try your best not to use them. Those are the devil, especially if you have dry skin. They're not hydrating. Oils don't hydrate, by the way. We're gonna talk about that in the next video. Let me write that down real quick. Baby, oils do not hydrate. Okay, so that's enough for this video. Feel free to follow me, DJ Styles Miami. Follow the NHBC. Keep up with what's going on and how they're, making a change for the natural hair community. And if y'all have questions, don't be scared to drop a question in the comment. Okay, give me ideas. And I'm finally taking this YouTube thing seriously. So let me know what's on your mind. Okay, because I'm damn sure gonna let y'all know what's on my mind. Okay. Let me write that down real quick. Okay. And until next time, y'all. Peace.